Henry James spoke of feeling in Dumas' play the springtime of life. Verdi must have felt something close to that when he came to the beginning of his second act, set in a country house near Paris. Some directors have tried to evoke even more of the springtime feeling by playing this scene in a garden, but it's often pointed out that this is the only opera Verdi set entirely indoors. The room in the libretto has French windows onto a garden, from which Alfredo enters, and in a happy recitative tells us he's been living here for 3 months with Violetta, who has given up the luxury and party-going of her previous life for him. His life is now heavenly, his aria tells us, because Violetta's love has calmed the youthful ardor of my bubbling spirits, dei miei bollenti spiriti.
Dei miei bollenti spiriti, il giovanile ardore, ella temprò col placido sorriso dell'amore.
But he is thunderstruck to learn from the maid, Annina, that Violetta is selling her horses, carriages, everything, to pay for this idyllic life. He resolves to go to Paris and raise the money himself. He tells Annina not to say anything, and sings a cabaletta of remorse, which is frequently cut as too conventional and too heroic for the situation, but is also frequently defended. Without the cabaletta, Alfredo is less admirable, and without it, the music just before the cabaletta builds to nothing. O my remorse, o shame, o mio rimorso, o infamia.
O mio rimorso, infamia, io dissi dall'errore, ma il turpe sonno affrangerà, i vermi volerò.
He leaves, and Violetta comes in with papers in her hands. We hear fewer embellishments in Violetta's vocal lines in all the rest of the opera. Rather, some of the most flowing and moving music Verdi ever wrote. Annina says Alfredo will be back soon. Another servant brings an invitation to Flora's that evening. Violetta throws it on the table and laughs. But now begins the tense, pivotal scene of the opera with the arrival of Alfredo's father, Giorgio Germont. In this scene, Violetta will be slowly forced from strength, not to weakness, but to defeat, and Germont will move from harshness to sympathy. But that very sympathy will help him to persuade Violetta, will become a weapon in his victory. He attacks at once. Mademoiselle Valérie, I am the father of the boy you are bewitching and ruining.
Madamigella Valérie,
Son io.
d'Alfredo il padre in me vedete.
Voi.
Sì, dell'incauto che a ruina corre, ammaliato da voi.
Voi, son io, signore.
But he is immediately impressed by a lesson in manners. I am a woman in my own home, sir. Allow me to leave you more for your sake than for mine. Yet, you've made a mistake. He wants to give you all his property. He hasn't dared yet, and I would refuse it. But all this luxury. Violetta astonishes him by showing him the bills of sale in her hand. But even in his growing sympathy, he unrelentingly presses the attack. Ah, why does the past accuse you?
Il passato perché v'accusa.
God has canceled the past because of my repentance and my love. But Germont does not let up. Even as he praises her nobility, he asks of her nobility a sacrifice, which Violetta had feared all along. She knew she was too happy.
Felice,
Gemmo tells her he is pleading for his 2 children. He also has a daughter, pure as an angel, pura siccome un angelo.
Pura siccome un angelo, io mi die una figlia, se offredo da riedere in seno alla famiglia.
If Alfredo does not leave Violetta, the daughter's marriage will not take place. Violetta, painful though it will be, says she will leave Alfredo for a while, but that's not enough. It must be forever. No!
Non sapete quagli affetto vivo in mezzo al tempo che mi avvece ne parlette io non conto traviventi e che avrei troppo aggiornato che in tutto vero. Non sapete.
Don't you know, non sapete, my burning love? Alfredo has sworn to be everything. Don't you know I'm ill, and the end is near? But Gemmo tells her, you're young and beautiful, and in time, oh no, I want to love only him. Perhaps, but man is often fickle. One day, undi quando le veneri, when all your loveliness is overcome by time, boredom will rise, and then, unblessed by marriage, what will there be?
Undi quando le veneri il tempo avrà fugate, via presto il tempio a sorgere, che sarà allora pensate.
As he continues, Violetta can only whisper, it's true, è vero.
È vero.
Oh, dunque, spernasi dal sogno seduttore, siate di mia famiglia.
God has inspired, says Gemmo, these words of a father. So sings Violetta to herself, for the miserable creature who one day fell. Hope of rising again is mute. Speranza di risorgere è muta. And the melody is a tortured version of Alfredo's love theme di quell'amor.
Ed io che ispira dai detti angeli